2020 elected officials reception. If you've been to this event in the past, you can see that we're doing this a little bit differently this year, but I'm still excited to see the amount of folks who signed up, and as well as thankful for our sponsors for hanging in there with us as we attempt to be nimble with all of our events here at the Asheville Chamber, and thankful for all the electeds who agreed to participate with us today here as well. You know, it's an interesting time right now in our community and in the country at large. And really, it's been truly awe-inspiring to see the effort that we've made in this community that we've witnessed here firsthand at the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. Let me introduce myself. I'm Corey Atkins. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Vice President of Public Policy and General Counsel for the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here today. But again, as I was saying, you know, it's really been awe-inspiring to see the effort that we've had going on in this community, and are excited to have so many public partners in this room as well as private from an economic development standpoint, but also in our efforts to battle what's been a raging pandemic nationwide and the reverberation that that's created throughout Western North Carolina, especially in our businesses and small businesses here. We want to thank all of our private sponsors and private partners who are here with us today. Of course, you can't do these kinds of events, and we can't continue to exist as your Chamber of Commerce in this community without a lot of help. Today we have with us, helping out with this particular event, Insurance Service of Asheville, Dominion Energy, Erc Broadband, Conrad and Shearer Trial Lawyers. We also have, as another gold sponsor, AT&T of North Carolina. Really thankful to all of you for your partnership, agreeing to stay on for this event, again, as we try to do something to provide value to our members as well as to the community by connecting our folks with elected officials here. In addition, we're really thankful for our trade partners. A lot of you may or may not know how we operate at the Chamber, but sometimes we have trade sponsorships for things like food and beverage and anywhere from hotel rooms to all kinds of things. So we're thankful for our trade partners for agreeing to stay on and being willing to contribute the trade that they had agreed to contractually for this event at a later date. And so we're thankful for them for doing that. That includes Everyday Gourmet, Highwire Brewing, Biltmore, Fast Signs of Asheville, as well as Gray Line Trolley Tours of Asheville. So thank you guys for agreeing to be here, to continue to be our partners. We really count on you and appreciate everything you're doing for us. Before we move on, I would like to recognize, though, our presenting sponsors today. Without them, this certainly couldn't be possible. They provide invaluable leadership in our community as well as insight for our policy efforts here at the Chamber. And I'm going to ask each one of them one by one to give a 2 or 3 minute sponsors welcome. And we'll start off with Christy Schrum of Insurance Service of Asheville. Christy, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm Christy Schrum, Vice President of Insurance Service of Asheville, and we're delighted to be here and be a presenting sponsor. I want to extend a warm welcome and thank the representatives and officials joining us today to engage with our community. I also want to compliment and thank the Chamber for continuing to succeed in creative ways to keep our community connected and informed during the pandemic. Their job certainly has not been easy, but their efforts and execution have been absolutely stellar. ISA is always proud to support our community and the Chamber, and we really enjoy working with them on the Chamber Workforce Benefits Program. For anyone joining the call today that's unfamiliar with ISA, we've been serving Western North Carolina and beyond for over 60 years. We started in the basement of the Battery Park Hotel in 1958, and now we're located in downtown Asheville at Executive Park. Our elite teams and specialists are available to assist and consult on any of your commercial insurance, group health and employee benefits, or personal lines insurance needs. We combine technology and resources to provide customized insurance programs for each individual and business. We pride ourselves in delivering old school, traditional customer service. Now more than ever, during these uncertain times, it is crucial to be informed and understand additional and evolving exposures. For more information, please check us out at isa-avl.com. And one more thing, if you haven't already, given the recent activity and predictions for more, please contact your agent and discuss earthquake coverage. Thank you for having us, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Christy, and thanks to ISA again. Up next, we have another presenting sponsor today, Dominion Energy. Julie Roper with Dominion to give their presenting sponsors welcome. Julie, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Corey, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words on behalf of Dominion Energy. A big shout out to Kit and your whole team. We can see why you've been voted the #1 chamber in the country. For those who don't know me, my name is Julie Roper. I am the Economic Development and Local Government Manager for Dominion Energy. We're the natural gas provider here. And while we merged with Dominion Energy in 2019, we are now Dominion Energy. You may have also remembered us as PSNC Energy. Our natural gas company was founded in Gastonia in 1938, and we have grown from a couple hundred customers to nearly 600,000 customers statewide. And we're one of the country's fastest growing regulated natural gas providers. We provide safe, reliable natural gas service in the Asheville region to approximately 80,000 businesses and residential customers. We're proud to have supported the Manna Food Bank during this crisis, the Salvation Army, and all sorts of other organizations and programs across our North Carolina footprint. We really try to be the best utility you'll ever work with, and that starts with caring for our communities and being a good neighbor during this difficult time. Our commitment to making a difference in our communities extends to the environment too. By 2050, we will achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions across all of our electric and natural gas operations in all of our 18 states where we do business. We also provide cleaner burning natural gas for fleet and refuse vehicles at our public fueling stations in Asheville and Mill River, which help these heavy vehicles lessen emissions on our roads. We look forward to providing a cleaner burning, affordable energy for the region and fueling growth in Asheville for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And again, thanks to Dominion Energy for sponsoring this event. And next we have another presenting sponsor, ERC Broadband. And with them, our good friend, Hunter Gusman, is here to say a few words. Hunter, the floor is yours. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Corey. I'm Hunter Gusman, the Executive Director of ERC Broadband. And I first would like to say thank you to all the elected officials whose efforts to improve our communities are vital to our joint success. Also, thank you very much to the Chamber for all their efforts at bringing us together and driving our community forward. ERC Broadband is very happy to be a partner to many of you to expand broadband access across the region. All of our efforts together ensure our communities will be stronger tomorrow. Again, thank you elected officials for all your efforts. And again, thank you to the Chamber for yours. And I certainly look forward to hearing all the elected officials speak about their individual efforts.
Thank you, Hunter. Y'all have been longtime partners with us as well as local governments. We know we really appreciate everything you do in the community. Before we go forward, and I explain kind of how this is going to work today, if you've been to these events in the past, really the whole point outside of the free food and booze has been to really get to sit in a small environment. Usually it's in our visitor center at 36 Montford Avenue. And really the point is to sit around a small table, talk to your local elected official about what is going on in your particular community. We're lucky to be joined by quite a few here today, and I want to recognize all of them individually, and then we're going to hear specifically about the city and county's efforts recently, as well as things that they're doing in partnership with the Chamber. So you all have a chance to speak later, but I do want to recognize those of you in the room who've RSVP'd to be here today. We have joining us today City Councilwoman Julie Mayfield, State Senator Chuck Edwards, Mayor of Asheville, Esther Manheimer, Senator Terry Van Dyne, House Representative Brian Turner, House Representative Jake Johnson, NC House Representative Josh Dobson, House Rep John Ager from out in Fairview, County Chairman Brownie Newman, County Commissioner Jasmine Beach Ferrara, County Commissioner Joe Belcher, Buncombe County Commissioner Amanda Edwards. In addition, joining us here today, and we're thankful to have their presence, are from the office of Senator Tom Tillis, Jordan Barnes, his Western Field representative, as well as from the office of Senator Richard Burr, Robin Ramsey. So thank you guys for being here as well. Before we explain how we're going to do this going forward and how you'll actually have a chance to get that more a smaller group connection with those electeds, as you know, there's 100 of us in this room right now, so it'd be impossible for all of us to talk over each other. And I'll explain that in a second. But before I get to that, I would like to recognize Mayor Esther Manheimer from the city of Asheville to say a few words about the city's recent efforts. Mayor Manheimer.
Unmuting, it's like the new way of trying to function these days. So good afternoon, hello everyone. My name's Esther Manheimer, and you already said, Corey, we do have one other city council member on here that I am aware of, and I know there's there are 100 people on here. So council member Julie Mayfield is here. If there are others I'm missing, I'm sorry, and hopefully we'll catch you before this is all over. I do want to make a couple short remarks to you today. Being mayor's extra challenging because normally I have the opportunity to speak to groups all the time, and now of course we're doing all of this virtually and the opportunities are not as many. So let me cover just a couple of things that I'd like to speak to you about. You know, we are in a situation now where words like unprecedented and uncertainty have become common terminology. Right now, as we sit here, my husband's driving down to Chapel Hill to retrieve our son who has achieved 12 days of college before having to come home. So uncertainty is the new normal. And you know, the city, along with all of you, have had to figure out how to continuously adjust our sails to deal with the crisis of the pandemic. And in addition to that, many of us, the city, the county, and many of you and your companies are confronting systemic racism and finding ways to dismantle it. The death of George Floyd has reawakened this country to the social injustices people of color face in our city and in our county and our state and our country every day. And so we're faced with not only grappling with this pandemic, but also how to dismantle systems so that we can achieve greater equity for everyone. We're in a constant evolving state. That's true at the city, whether it's how we protect our community from a deadly virus to how we teach our children. Thank you to the 8th grade teacher that assigned a scavenger hunt in the middle of my Zoom call this morning. How do we care for folks like the homeless and the elderly? How can we reimagine public safety in our communities? These are all sorts of things that we're dealing with as a community and especially as a city. We at the city, we've taken significant steps to continue conducting business virtually while we're in this COVID limbo, and we've moved all of our public meetings to a virtual platform to allow people to remain healthy while they're still engaged. And we've moved our community and country, I would say, a huge step forward personally here in Asheville by doing some innovative things in this period of time. Recently, the Asheville City Council adopted a resolution on reparations that gained a great deal of attention, mostly positive attention here locally. And we're now in the process of working with our city manager to flesh out the details of that and how we'll move forward as a city. So, you know, I would say that a lot of eyes are on Asheville in terms of how providing leadership and how we move forward through these challenging times. I would offer that we share that challenge with the county, and we're going to hear from the county chair in just a minute, Brownie Newman. Please know that we have been working very closely together through all of this, and I think that's been a real silver lining to this, to learn how well we're working together. And in partnership with the Chamber has taken tremendous leadership during this uncertain time. And I really want to compliment them, bringing together a lot of the business groups so that we can figure out how to reopen and restart our economy. The Chamber's really stepped up and taken a strong leadership role in that arena. And speaking of jobs, you know, we saw significant losses in jobs here due to coronavirus. But we are also seeing a tremendous rebound. We are definitely not where we started. We know that in March of 2020, we had a total employment in our metro area of 197,000 folks approximately, and that plummeted to 161,000. So from 197,000 to 161,000. But in June, we climbed back up to, and I don't have the most recent numbers, but we've climbed back up to 180,000. So we're not back where we were last year, this time last year, but we are seeing significant gains, and we're hoping that will keep climbing as North Carolina's coronavirus numbers continue to drop. The city budget was passed recently here, and we are on track with continuing our capital projects that were part of the 2016 bond that voters approved. We have spent in this year alone $7 million on those bond projects. Some of you may have seen them going forward, like on Haywood Street. So just know that business is still moving forward. Things are still happening. You know, we do have cuts, so we weren't able to give raises to employees, and we are still at the drawing board in making adjustments to the budget going forward, and also in combination with our reimagining of public safety and looking for some changes to our budget to reflect the community's desires around those changes. So I probably took up a little too much time there. I'm sorry about that, and I'll kick it back to you, Corey. Thanks very much.
No, thank you, Mayor, and we appreciate that and appreciate everything the city's done, its leadership, to help us get the message out and do the things that we're trying to do from both economic development and recovery standpoint. So thank you for that. Up next, we have, on behalf of Buncombe County, Chairman Brownie Newman. Brownie, thanks for being here. We'd love to hear from you.
Great. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it very much. And I appreciate the other commissioners who are joining in as well. I know that Jasmine Beach Ferrara, Joe Belcher, and Amanda Edwards were all indicated as present. If there's others who are here as well that I don't know, because we're doing this virtually, we appreciate all of you. I really appreciate the Chamber hosting this event every year for elected officials. It's an event that I look forward to every year. And I appreciate the Chamber doing it again this year, even though we are, of course, having to do it in a non-traditional forum. I wanted to start off by also expressing my appreciation to everyone in the business community that has really pulled together to help our community get through what's been the most challenging period that we have faced in a very long time. I think back to the time in early March, not long after the first COVID-19 cases had been documented in the United States, and health experts were warning that this would be the worst pandemic that the country had faced since 1917. You know, this was all uncharted territory for all of us, but national, state, and our local health experts were of the same view that the only way to slow down the spread of this contagious and sometimes lethal disease was to put in place unprecedented social distancing measures. Many health experts warned that a failure to take early action to suppress the spread of COVID-19 would lead to exponentially higher rates of transmission and illness. So based on this, of course, Buncombe County became the first county in the state to declare a public health emergency and to cancel non-essential public gatherings. This was probably the most difficult decision that I've ever had to make as commission chair, because I knew that requiring all but non-essential commercial activities to halt for some period would cause a great deal of pain for local businesses and workers in our community. I'm very grateful that the overwhelming response from businesses in Buncombe County and Asheville and from our residents was to support these measures as an essential strategy to keep members of our community safe and to slow the spread of this dangerous disease. Buncombe County also became the second county, just the second county in the state of North Carolina to create a requirement for people to wear masks while in indoor environments. And while this was considered very novel at the time and initially controversial in some quarters, Again, most businesses strongly supported this, along with our residents, and have continued, and that support has grown over time. As a result of the great work of the business community and individuals taking responsibility for their actions, of the 10 most populous counties in North Carolina, Buncombe County has consistently had the lowest number of COVID-19 cases per capita in North Carolina. And this is not an argument for complacency at this time, but I do want to recognize that the proactive work that businesses and residents in our community have put in have prevented hundreds of additional people who would have otherwise become seriously ill, and it's prevented many deaths compared to what would have happened otherwise. So I just want to say thank you to all the businesses who have stepped up during this tough time. I also wanted to say thanks to all the businesses and people and individuals who have also stepped up to help one another in other ways, and to help other businesses and other people that are struggling. With Kit Kramer as our chair, the One Buncombe Fund has raised over $1.3 million to support local businesses and residents who are working to navigate this really difficult time. I also wanted to say thanks to Mayor Esther Manheimer and the mayors of our other municipalities and leaders of the other municipalities for our work together this year. As Esther said, this has been a time when people have really pulled together, and I think that coordinated approach between the towns and the city and the county really has made a big difference in our emergency responses and the overall community response that we have seen. And lastly, I wanted to say that while the COVID-19 pandemic has required, of course, an enormous amount of our time and our resources this year, there are a lot of other important projects and policies that are moving forward to address affordable housing. There are important transportation projects that are moving forward. We just approved a collaborative effort between AB Tech Community College, the city schools, the county schools, the city of Asheville, and Buncombe County, the largest on-site solar project in the state of North Carolina on over about almost 50 public buildings throughout Buncombe County, which is going to save all of us as taxpayers over $20 million over the next couple of decades by using renewable energy. There are also some very significant economic development projects that many people, including a lot of people who are in this meeting today, have been working hard to help realize here in Buncombe County, in which we're still working on and very hopeful about, even as we navigate through this COVID-19 environment. So I want to thank everyone for their efforts on these great economic development projects that we have here in Western North Carolina. So thank you again, Corey, to you and the Chamber and Kit and everyone on the team for hosting us today. I really appreciate the chance to be here.
Thank you, Brownie. And I'll second what you said about working together. The county staff and the Emergency Preparedness Services Office were just absolutely outstanding at the beginning of this. And we partnered up on a ton of town halls that you can see on our resource page. And if you haven't been there, I'd encourage you to check it out. If you need signage for your business, I'd go to buncombeready.org. But if you need some resources as far as still looking for funding, looking to watch some of these town halls that were super informative, please go to www.ashevillechamber.org/coronavirus. All right, now to the fun part. So you might be wondering, how in the world with 105 people in a room am I going to get a chance to speak to my elected official? Well, here's how we're going to conduct this going forward, so please pay attention. We are going to split everyone off into 6 rooms. It just so happened to work out that we have 12 electeds who have signed up. In the room that we just had, I'm talking to Representative Dobson, and I'll say that, you know, in the Western North Carolina, we're just a little bit different out here, and we have to work together. And what's really warmed me up above everything else that's happened is seeing party labels be put to the side for the ideas and policies that's worked best for our community and our region. And I think that, if we can do that in all walks of our lives and all walks of our policymaking going forward as a city, county, state, and federal government, it's really only going to result in better policy solutions for everyone. And so it satisfies me to see that. I'm satisfied with what I've heard here today. I'm very enthused by what I heard today. I'm excited that everyone was able to attend, and I really hope you got something out of it and enjoyed this new style of elected official reception. Maybe next year we can all meet in person at the visitor center again. Here's the hoping. But with that said, thanks everybody for being here. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you. Best of luck. Thanks again to all of our electeds. Thanks to our sponsors.